Welcome back to Today in Design and SEO Marketing, the podcast you need. I'm Ron Wicker, CEO at ThinkIt Media. Quick scene for you. A listener wrote in about an API product with excellent retention, great docs for existing users, but almost zero organic signups coming from documentation search. They said, the docs are helpful, but they don't bring people in. That's exactly the problem we'll unpack today.
Let's dive in. I hear you. That situation is more common than people think. In the next 10 minutes, we'll walk through 5 small, ops-friendly tactics you can ship in a sprint and the KPIs to check in 2 to 6 weeks. Doc-driven signups, organic sessions to doc pages, and task completion rate in the docs. Those are metrics you can move without a full redesign.
First up, intent mapping and task-first headings. The idea is simple. Treat docs pages like search-first task flows. Developers search with a task in mind. How to authenticate with API-X or example webhook payload. If your H1s and H2s mirror those queries, searchers land and complete tasks faster.
Exactly. One-step rewrite. Scan your top doc pages and rework the H1, H2 to answer the task directly. Change a vague header like authentication to authenticate with API-X, 3 quick steps, and add an H2 with the exact dev query you see in search terms. That small change lines up with intent and improves click-through from search results.
For teams that worry about tone or developer experience, don't oversimplify code context. Keep the examples, but add that task-first heading above them. KPI to watch, organic impressions and clicks for those pages, plus time to first success metric if you have it. Expect to see movement in 2 to 6 weeks.
Point 2. Versioning and canonical hygiene. Docs often bloat search index with multiple versions of the same content. Old V1, V2 pages rank and cannibalize. The one-line rollout rule: pick a canonical URL per doc topic and serve versioned copies with a canonical tag pointing to that canonical, or use rel prev next patterns for pagination type flows.
And a practical rollout note. Test canonical rules in a staging index first. If you flip canonical tags site-wide without checking, you can lose historically useful pages. So staging plus a rollback plan. Log change dates and monitor organic traffic for the affected pages for the first 2 weeks.
KPIs for versioning work: reduction in duplicate impressions, clearer consolidated ranking for the canonical page, and fewer pages getting low-quality clicks. If you see an unexpected drop on an important page, revert and iterate. This isn't a one-shot change without monitoring.
Third tactic, make code snippets crawlable and examples renderable. Too many docs hide snippets behind tabs or dynamic renderers that bots can't read. One-step implementation. Expose a pre-formatted text block copy button that contains plain code and an adjacent rendered example. That satisfies both search bots and human readers.
Right. And think of it this way. Search value comes from content the crawler can index. If your example only exists in a client-side widget, it's invisible to search. Add a server-side rendered example or a static pre-block that mirrors the rendered example. KPI: increases in organic visibility for example-driven queries and higher engagement on those pages.
Bonus operational tip. Add a tiny test. Swap one important example page to this pattern and measure the difference before rolling it out. It's low friction, and you'll get a quick signal.
Fourth, structured data for tutorials and snippets. Add how-to or tutorial schema where appropriate, and ensure article metadata is accurate. The one validation step: use the rich results testing tool or schema validator on a sample page and iterate until you see the expected markup recognized.
Structured data can win you rich snippets, expanded results, step-by-step previews, even code snippets in search results. That improves CTR and attracts high-intent visitors. KPI: improved click-through rate from SERPs and appearance in rich results within a few weeks.
Keep the schema conservative. Don't mark up pages as tutorials if they're just reference. That avoids being penalized for misleading markup, and it preserves clarity for users.
And remember to test on staging first for any bulk schema deployment.
Fifth and final tactic, attribution and conversion hooks. It's not enough to get traffic. You need to tie doc sessions to signups. One-step action. Add UTM parameters to links in docs that lead to sign-up or pricing pages, and instrument a micro-conversion event, like click to try this code or downloaded SDK. That gives you signals inside your analytics to connect docs behavior to funnels.
Also, push doc events into your product analytics or CDP if you can. Track doc session length, which examples were viewed, and whether someone clicked through to a sign-up. KPIs here: doc-driven sign-ups, drop-off points in the doc to sign-up flow, and task completion rate. Those metrics tell you whether discoverability changes actually produce leads.
We've laid out 5 fast actions: intent headings, canonical hygiene, crawlable examples, structured data, and attribution hooks with one-step implementations and short-term KPIs. For teams that want a checklist, we put a downloadable Docs SEO checklist in the show notes. Practical steps and rollback criteria included.
If you want to pilot this, most teams can run a sprint. Pick one core doc topic, apply the intent heading, add a crawlable example, validate schema, set your canonical, and wire a UTM or event. Measure for 2 to 6 weeks, and then expand. That approach keeps changes small and testable.
And if you'd like help, ThinkIt Media can audit your docs or run a docs to leads pilot. We'll run the checklist, stage canonical changes, and set up measurement hooks so you don't have to guess. Subscribe to the show for more tactical episodes like this, and grab the checklist in the notes. Definitely a fast way to get momentum.
One tactical step to run today: pick a high-traffic doc page and add a task-aligned H2 plus an analytics event that fires when someone clicks the first code example. It's a small change with measurable impact, most definitely worth trying.
Let's talk about this.